How's it going, you guys? Connor here with Caliber Whips, and today in this video I'm going to show you guys how to make a Turks knot for your whip. Particularly, this is going to be the heel knot. Now, I have covered this material before in my how to make a professional level bullwhip video. However, this is just isolating the heel knot. So with that being said, nothing really new is going to be covered other than the fact that I'm just isolating the material into one video, just so it's easier for people to reference. So with that being said, what I've gone ahead and did was I've plaited a 7-plait flat braid. Now this was covered in my last video before this one, how to basically braid, how to flat braid. So I showed you from 3-plait all the way up to 10-plait and kind of how to manipulate your kind of technique. So what to look for if you want to go ahead and plait like 16 strands. So what I've gone ahead and did was I've plaited 7 strands, but I also kind of rolled it as well. I held it up against the surface and went like this to smooth out all the little kinks and wrinkles in the flat braid. That's why it looks so smooth. So after you braid or flat braid anything, just kind of take it up against the surface and rub it like this, and it will basically smooth it out nice and fine. So with that being said, I'm just going to set that to the side. I'm going to get my artificial sinew here. I'm going to burn it and then place it down just like that. Now we're not going to make a massive Turks knot foundation. I prefer to keep my heel knots nice and small. This just makes it easier for the Turks knot to cover. And yes, I do tie my Turks knots in advance. So this is the herringbone knot. I do have a video on this in my other channel. This is the thumbnail for it. I'll put a link for it in the description if you're interested in checking it out. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to take the flat braid, I'm going to press it flat up against the top of it, and I'm going to fold this over just like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically go with the direction in which I kind of wrapped it. And I'm just going to wrap it just a couple of times, nothing crazy. There we go. That's it. Just like 3 times. Now we are nowhere near done, because what we're going to do here is I'm going to turn this to the side, and I'm going to grab my little clippers here. I'm going to clip off this excess that we have right here, and I'm going to use it for the sides. So what I'm going to do is take these strands right here, I'm going to fold this over just like that in half, just like this. Then I'm going to grab some artificial sinew here, and I'm going to burn it up against the foundation, and then I'm going to gently wrap this around. The purpose of this is to add volume to the sides, because the flat braid only covers 1/2 of the foundation. So we need some cord to fill out the sides. That is the purpose of these strands right here. And yes, over time my fingers do get used to that little burning. Obviously sometimes it blisters over. You may be able to see that. But that's what a blister looks like that gets popped. So just a fair warning, be careful when melting sinew and pressing it with your thumbs. It will warp the skin and flesh off of your fingers. But you know, you get used to it. So I'm going to take my clippers here, clip some more excess off. I'm going to clip this guy and just throw him away because we only need 3. So I'm going to take these 3 strands, fold them in half just like that. Now keep these for a second while I grab another piece of artificial sinew. And I'm going to burn that right to the foundation. I'm going to gently cover this over because I don't want to pull too tight, because you don't want to risk slipping the strands off of each other. If you notice, they're directly on top. What you don't want is a strand to kind of do its own thing over here. You want it to be nice and even on top of each other. So gently do it at first, and then after they kind of stay in place and they behave, you can really kind of crank down on the sinew, make it really tight. There we go. Now what we're going to do here See all this excess? We gotta cut it all off. So sometimes I like to use my snippers. Other times I like to use my utility knife. It doesn't really matter. Whatever gets the cleanest cut from the sinew. So sometimes I use both. So sometimes I'll show you what both of them looks like. I'll probably stick with the snippers for now because I don't have enough sinew. This blade is kind of dull. I don't want to pull out any of the strands from out underneath the sinew. I'm going to start with the braiding first, and then I'll move on to the filler strands. All right, now that that's done, I'm going to move on to these little filler strands here. Now I will say, I do like these particular clippers because it cuts through paracord in one clean slice. So it does make it very convenient. And no, I don't know the exact brand of it. I just found them at Home Depot. And I looked at them in the packaging, and when they close together, it doesn't show any light through it. See what I'm talking about? When I close it together, no light passes through. That means it's nice and clean. Because if there's any like dots, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like for example, if you see here, light can pass through. Itty bitty threads will not get cut. So then when you go to pull it, because you cut it, it then jerks out a little piece of thread, which then kinks up your whole paracord. And if you've been working with paracord long enough, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It looks like this. That is the worst thing in the world for a whip maker, because like you go to like use your lacing needle for something, or like this to like adjust like strands if they're not behaving right. You know, you just kind of move them back and forth. Then you accidentally pull this out of the way, and then you're stuck because it's like all kinked out and it's disgusting. And you're pretty much hosed. So no, I don't like doing that at all. But with that being said, kind of got that out of the way. All these little loose frayed ends, we're gonna burn it. Keep it from going anywhere. And again, be careful with melted nylon. This stuff is like napalm. The only difference is it's not like on fire, unless you burn it for too long. All right, so for this side, what we're gonna do here is we're actually going to cut it as kind of level with the top as possible, because we're gonna go ahead and burn it into like a little ledge. Probably should put some more sinew here, but I think we're okay. I'm actually gonna cut a little bit more, because what I wanna do is make a little lip. So I'm actually gonna try. No, that's not gonna work. I'm not confident in the sharpness of my utility knife for that. I just gotta move other strands out of the way. It's not gonna look pretty right now because it's all fuzzy. There we go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna burn this cord. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I'm kind of looking for that little lip, because what you want the paracord to do when you go to tie it, you want that paracord to kind of rest on the side. You guys know what I'm talking about? You want it to rest on the side, so it exposes as much of the braiding as possible on the foundation. So what we're going to do here, same as before. This time I'm going to cut it one strand at a time so I don't try to overload my little cutters here, because these snippers can only cut like 2 or 3 pieces of cord at a time. If I try to do more, it's just not going to work. There we go. go. I got melted nylon kind of singed onto my skin. There we go. Got to be careful for this blister because it's very temperature sensitive. I did this the other day. I had a melted piece of nylon and I touched it over the bare skin and it did not feel good at all. All right, so now that we have a little bit of sinew on here holding this down, we're going to grab a little bit of electrical tape and gently kind of hold that in place. Just one little piece, because what we're going to do is we're going to grab a big piece of parachute cord. All right, so we're taking our gutted paracord. I zoomed in a little bit so you guys could see it a bit better. We're going to take it here. We're going to melt it right onto our foundation. And we're going to wrap it all the way around until we get to the edge of our flat braid. So about right there is where I want to end it. Now we're gonna nuke this. There we go, perfect. That's just gonna add a little bit more volume to our heel knot, and it's gonna keep it from kind of looking off. It's gonna smooth out the bottom especially and make it look real good. So what we're gonna do now is take some more electrical tape. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's good on Turks knot foundations when you use it in moderation. So a couple of wraps will be more than adequate here. Just like that. And now we're gonna move on to the tack nails. These are the tack nails that I prefer to use. They're little, what are they? Brads, there we go. They're little brads because they got the rounded head, and that's what we're looking for. So you only need about like 12 and you're good. I used to like load it up a long time ago with like a crap ton of them, and it was too much. I did not need that at all. So 3 on each side is more than adequate. Because keep in mind, we're gonna wax this whip, so it's not gonna really go anywhere, right? Because when you wax a whip, you basically turn all the strands to concrete almost. I mean, unless it's like really hot outside. The strands turn to concrete thanks to the paraffin wax. At least I think so. It's like cementing the strands in place. Now again, a lot of people are very uncomfortable with the electrical tape. I have not had an issue with the electrical tape, and I've had whips for years, and I've yet to have a Turks knot problem. The only issue that arrives with Turks knots is if they are poorly constructed, like everything isn't tight. If there's anything loose on a Turks knot, that is not good at all. You want to make sure everything is tight and everything is held down securely, which is why tack nails in the foundation is a must. Like, there's no debating whether or not you should put tack nails in the foundation. All right, there we go. That is all done. And then we're gonna finish it off with just one more itty bitty wrap of E-tape just to cover those nails, keep them from showing. We don't need to really pound it with electrical tape, because again, we're not building the foundation with actual electrical tape. We're using real materials to build up the foundation instead of E-tape. So there we go, we're pretty much done. That is the finished Turks knot. Here, let me move my camera a little bit. There we go. So this is the finished Turks knot foundation. And basically, what we're gonna do now is attach our Turks knot to it. And I'll show you guys what the finished product looks like. And there we go. We have finished the Turks knot of this whip. It did turn out pretty well, if I do say so myself. That is the top of it. Now this whip is actually for sale on my eBay store. I'll put a link for that in the description down below in the description box. So be sure to check that out. I also sell little Kevlar crackers that go on the end of your whip. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.